Okay, Casper, come over here. Come over here. Come here. Come here. I can't get you from there. How am I going to get you from there? You're too big. You're too big. Come up here. What you doing? What you doing? Where are you? Hey there. There we go. Here's a Casper boy. There's a Casper boy. Look. Say hi to everybody. Well, good morning, everybody. It's 8:30 in the morning in California. And here is Casper, and here's the coffee, but he's not going to have too much patience. He's like to go under my feet. Well, good morning. Welcome from beautiful Southern California this morning, wherever you are in the world. See, Hawaii is checking in. Aloha, Hawaii. Aloha, my beloveds. Beloveds, because you are the ones who are aware that we are in the light, as the light, and with the light. And so this morning, I just wanted to spend a little time to give you some ideas about being of good cheer. There's a great in the Bible in John. There's a line that says, "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace in the world. Ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have come to overcome the world." So I want to remind you that all Bibles from every faith tradition are all pointing toward one source. It belongs to all people. It's everywhere present. And each individual soul, according to their own consciousness, according to the I am, the very being of themselves, that which gives life, because we all emerge from the same source. So what we know is that when this master teacher was speaking of there will be tribulations in the world, meaning in physical effect, things will happen. But what we are is something greater than that. What each of us is greater than the circumstances or the sum total of our circumstances. What we are, Roy Eugene Davis, the great spiritual teacher, said this great affirmation, which I've taught for years and years and years. It says, "I am an immortal spiritual being, superior to my mind, to my body, and to my experience. I am an immortal spiritual being, superior to my mind, to my body, and my experience." What that means is that although I have a mind, I am more than my mind. I have a body, I am more than my body. And I have an experience, and I am more than my experience. And so what we are talking about today is in this world that we're living in, we're kind of, I'm giving you ideas to help you be of good cheer. Because something wonderful is happening in the midst of this great challenge. Something wonderful is happening in the world that's never happened before. And in these few minutes, I'm going to try to give you an easy way to take a look at that and to meditate into it, to feel into it, and to be of good cheer, because something wonderful is happening on our planet that has never, ever happened before. My friend Barbara Marx Hubbard used to speak of the 50 billion years of evolution that it's taken to get to this particular moment now. And that's where we are. We're in a new moment in time. I want to remind all my friends who are checking in, first of all, if you're getting any pleasure from, or peace, or joy, or inspiration from this time that we are together in Coffee with Casper, once a week on Tuesdays, please share it with your friends. Let them know. If you'd like to be on my list, and I'm sending out mail and occasional pieces of stuff, not very much, but you just go to newthought.com and click on info@newthought.com and sign up, and I'll make sure you're getting notifications about when we're doing stuff. But for now, we're going to stick with Tuesdays at 8:30 in the morning. Coffee is here playing behind me with his older golden retriever, Mountain. Mountain is 11, and Casper is 6 months, and they're busy wrestling behind me now. So I'm holding in my hand a coin. There are two sides to this coin, and if you were to look at the head side and put just the head side up, you would say, well, this is hey guys, chill. You would say this is the way the world is. I only see this side of the world, this heads up side of the world. But what we know is that there's another side of the coin, and there's a whole other side of that world. So what's happening in our day is that we are in a world that is working with two sciences, two completely, they're not different sciences, but they tag each other. One is quantum science and the other is Newtonian science, empirical science. Newtonian science is the information that you're getting from the news. It's the information you're getting about data. It's the extrapolation of what that data is doing. It's looking at laws and principles and averages and seeing what might happen inside that empirical data. On the other side of the coin is the quantum field. The quantum field says that all things are emerging from the same source, and that the source itself, acting upon itself, is what creates things. So that we would say then, the short version is, if I look at an experiment, what I'm expecting to happen is going to have an effect on what does happen. What I'm expecting to happen will have an effect on what does happen. So we're in a time right now where, for the first time in the world, that we have a global communication, and we have, around this global communication, we have a small group of souls. I call them light workers. They are people who are aware that there's one life, there's one power, it belongs to all people, that is distributed equally, and that each one has the same rights and the same authority inside this unified field. Basically, a constitutional line which says all men and women, all humans are created equal. That doesn't just belong in one country or whether we're able to live the idea or not. It's a principle. All people are created equal, and I am an immortal spiritual being, superior to my mind, to my body, and to my experience. Now, when you look at this other side of the coin, this quantum side of the coin, what we know is that consciousness, and every one of us has a consciousness, the sum total of everything we've ever thought, said, done, or felt, creates the very being that we are. It's the movement of this immortal self of myself, the sum total of my thoughts, my attitudes, my words, and my feelings. And they create something we call consciousness. And consciousness has a force, it has a power. It's not a forceful power, but consciousness has force. It is the predominant force. And consciousness is motivated. The one with the greatest consciousness is the one with the greatest amount of love, and the greatest amount of faith, and the greatest amount of optimism. That consciousness, because it matches the infinite is with and for itself, it burst itself, that it may express itself as you and me and all that is our experience. And you multiply that by the 7 billion people on the planet, and then you have God celebrating God in all these infinite forms, and all of it is the same self, and all is one thing. Each of us is individualized in that, having our unique expression of the whole itself. So what's happening for the first time in the world that's ever happened before, we've stopped fighting one another, and we're now fighting this invisible thing called a virus. And we're all turning toward it to find out how to strengthen the autoimmune system, how to cause it so that we can live in the presence of virus without getting sick, just like we have learned to cope with flus and colds and all these other things. They're around, but we don't have to get them because we have something called an autoimmune system. And the worst thing one can do for one's autoimmune system, the most devastating thing to the autoimmune system, is stress and fear. So I'm saying, let us be of good cheer, because here we have many souls around the planet. Now, we're not a big group of souls in terms of the 7 billion. Estimates and testing seems to indicate, kinesiology testing seems to indicate that the people who are aware that there is one power, that power is the life of source, and that power is my life, and that power is good. Einstein asked the question, what's the really big question in life is the universe friendly? And right about those same times, as he was getting older and preparing for his next journey in immortal expression, he discovered his real formula for E equals mc squared was love is the force that moves the whole thing. So now we have these, let's say there are 2 billion, let's say there are 2% of the 7 billion people on the planet that are believing that there's one life, believing that they're connected to the whole, believing that the whole itself, the source itself, God itself, Spirit itself, is with and for you. That there is a power that can guide, guard, direct, protect, and lead us, guide us into the fulfillment of our destiny, into the fulfillment of our great good, the fulfillment of our lives according to our choices and our intentions, yes? So let's say that there's only 2% of us. We saw in a political arena this year Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson would certainly be a light worker. She was bringing conversations that were new to a political dialogue, talking about dimensions beyond the physical, who we are in moral character, who we are as a being of compassion, who we are as souls wanting to go forth. And you remember when she was running, didn't get a lot of traction. In fact, about the 2% level. So we could say around 2% of us know that there is one power, that the way that we are handling our thoughts and our actions and our intentions is affecting what's happening in the world. So we now have 2%. Now 2% of 7 billion people on the planet is 140 million people. So the first time ever around the globe, at least 140 million people on a daily basis are working on revealing wholeness, the patterns of perfection, the idea of an intelligent universe that works harmoniously with itself to bring forth healing and success and greater levels of abundance and greater levels of good. This is all happening, and now we're not doing it just for our own good. We're not saying I need to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. We're saying everyone deserves to be healthy and find their perfect level of expression with enough of everything, a world that actually works for everyone. This is a pattern that exists behind all this empirical data. It's not on the empirical data side of the coin. It's on the other side of the coin, which the world is not looking at. And so for the first time, 140 million souls around the world are praying for the same good. A good to be revealed for humanity, a good to be revealed on the earth, a peace that passes all understanding to brought forth. And so we're in this pandemic, and there's a great deal of fear, but be of good cheer. Something is happening that is greater than has ever happened in the history of the world. 140 million people a day praying, meditating, contemplating on wholeness and perfection and the patterns of perfection, and drawing those patterns into human condition in a way that creates more love, more joy, more peace, more interconnectedness, more interrelatedness, and more conscious compassion brought forth to each and everyone in the world. You know, we go into the markets now and we have our masks on, and people are frightened in that environment, and people are having to go there and are doing what they can, risking what they believe is their lives for this greater good. And are we compassionately, even behind the mask, living from a place of love and faith and empowerment and supporting other souls? Because the more we reach out and serve those others, the more we're actually helping ourselves. The more we are compassionate in the world, the more we're helping ourselves. The more we are of good cheer, because we are leveraging the universe. How could 2% of the population change the mass awareness in the world? And this is what we're talking about, leveraging the universe. Because the force of consciousness is the force of love that you're able to generate in your own being, and that you're able to call forth into the world through your own being. So Ernest Holmes, the great philosopher, gave us a practice. Now, every tradition has their own discipline, and you need to follow the discipline that works according to your faith and your belief. But this discipline he gave us, those who like the idea that we are immortal spiritual beings, free, given the opportunity that we were born to have fun living, to consciously commune with the presence that is within and around us, and to joyously expand and grow forever, trusting a divine guidance coming from within, taking us forward. Because these light workers, the power of consciousness has a force, which is a non-forceful force, a peaceful, overwhelming, compelling, active force that emerges through circumstance to bring forth the highest good, if there is an intention in the quantum field for that highest good to be revealed. And you and I are the place, by managing ourselves, by managing our own consciousness, by tuning in, by daily meditating, by daily contemplating the goodness of God, by daily contemplating love and joy and freedom and inviting it into our lives, by daily contemplating answers beyond which we can see. We are invoking a power and collectively bringing forth a power that is doing a work in the world that the empirical side of the coin does not see yet. But it doesn't mean that it's not there. And it is there, and it is happening, and it's happening because you and I are turning to the one. We're inviting that energy into our lives. The energy of love, the energy of joy, the energy of compassion, the energy of connection, the energy of belonging, the energy of guidance, that something intuitive force will guide us forward. We're in this place now where the light workers, you and I, who are believing in this one power and this one presence belonging to all people, to all religions and all traditions, honoring all paths to the infinite, calling forth that which is at the center, that which is love itself, that draws the universe. We are creating a quantum shift. Now, the quantum shift is going to happen on the inside. It's going to happen in our own awareness. It will happen gradually and through our own experience as we wake up day to day, as we invite this greater good into our lives. But it is happening, and it's creating something that has never before happened in the history of humankind, in the history of the Earth's evolution. We have never been at a place where so much consciousness is turned toward healing, toward wholeness, toward the revelation of peace in Earth as it already is in the cosmos itself. We are drawing it forth now into the human condition in a way that has never happened before. Be of good cheer. Something wonderful is happening on our planet, even as we're working through our day-to-day struggles, even as we are getting a deeper faith, even as we're remembering that kindness counts, even as we're remembering that we have a tremendous power within us to bring good into the world. And as we do it for ourselves and include others in our awareness, we are creating a huge quantum shift, and we are part of a global phenomenon that is taking place right now. We are in it, we are as it, we are of it, and it's happening. And yes, we must be patient. We must breathe. We must hold the high watch. We must know this is the truth being revealed in our experience. And it is happening now. So be of good cheer. Humanity is waking up. We are taking our responsibility as co-creators in the universe, as shepherds and stewards of the earth. We are taking forward our responsibility for the generations to come, that we create a more compassionate and a world that we draw forth the substance and supply, which is already existent, a way, as Buckminster Fuller said, to bring it forth in distribution in the world in a way that's never happened before. We're at the dawn of a new day. Be of good cheer. You will make it through, and something good is happening here. Now, I have promised we will spend a minute or two in a peaceful contemplating, peaceful opening. So if you're willing, you don't have to close your eyes, but if you'd like, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Let it expand your belly. It's tricky to breathe in the belly. And then let it come up into your heart. As we are recognizing there is one power. That each human is born of this one power. And the humans have free will, the capacity to choose into a greater good. And right now, we are choosing into the side of the coin that says there's a world awakening. There's a greater pattern of infinite good being brought forth into our experience. It's working in my mind as I am choosing peace and calm. It's working in my body as I'm choosing radiant, vibrant, dynamic health, as already given by the pattern of perfection that is the I am that I am. I'm choosing perfect love and learning to express it, to feel it, to be in it, to move in it, to welcome its expansion in me in a new and more profound way. And I'm choosing perfect right action, that the abundance of God, the infinite abundance of Source itself, is moving through me, through every right idea, to bring greater abundance, greater love, and greater joy into my life. Good and more good is mine. There's no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. It crowds itself against me. It flows through me, and it multiplies itself around me. Thank you for bringing your light into the world. Until we meet again, I invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Blessings.